Good evening.
Good evening.
Evening blessings and salutations.
Wow, we ain't hear that thing like a
You hear
year.
that in a minute? Yes, yes. So I had to come out and say.
The question is, did we miss it?
Well, that's not for you to answer. Can we worry about what you think? I ain't skip a beat. I ain't skip a beat. I ain't skip a beat.
Wow.
I was on good behavior because you two wasn't here.
Is that right?
Oh, you missed us.
But you're not the one. You're not the one that says you don't know the things you have to work on till you're in the relationship or
Yeah.
situation. Okay, so
Nah, me working on that. I like how I deal with these two.
oh, Jesus. Lord help us.
Well, I don't hit different, so I just hope you can handle it. That's all.
Oh God. And Randy, Shelly, welcome back.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Yes, welcome back, guys.
I just want to, and I'll reiterate it again a couple times through this our live tonight, that I have some solid numbers. So tomorrow I will be going live to discuss our St. Martin Love and Enlightenment experience that is slated to take place May the 11th through May the 16th. I have a lot of information as well as you can ask questions, and we're going to have a buy-in for that because we can only have a set amount of people to come on with us, and that buy-in is going to take place on December 27th. So I'll have more information for that for everybody tomorrow. But tonight, again, thank you for joining us. Welcome back, Mr. Downs and Mr. Llanos.
Good to be back.
And yeah, I'm glad to have y'all back.
No comments.
Oh, Jesus. Trina, love and enlightenment. We positivity.
Put a muzzle on that one there, please. You can
No comments. No comments.
Muzzle on that.
Oh, Jesus.
You might bite off the muzzle, my boy.
You're right.
Oh my goodness. So tonight, before we get into the actual discussion, Mr. Llanos made a post yesterday evening that seemed to garner a lot of comments. And so for the viewers in YouTube land, this was his post. It said, "You're mine, I'm yours, and we're single." So, when you all hear that, and Mr. Llanos, when you heard that or you read that initially, what came to mind or what made you say you wanted to share it with the group?
Sure, couple things actually. Good evening once again. It took me. I responded. A couple of folks that I know actually responded. Yoli Process, shout out to her. She came out. She said, "Oh, it reminded her of back in the days." And I was like, "Yeah, it took me way back. Back to a time I don't really even want to. You know, it was good times, shaped me to who I am. But man, that was interesting. And of course, when I first saw it, also the first thing that came to my mind was like levels and of toxicity with that. When you see that, it's like, what the hell is going on? Are we still living this? Are we still doing this?
When you said that, what you mean, Llanos?
Are people still living like that? I mean, I don't even know if something like that. People are still, having those, I guess, arrangements based on convenience, because that's what it means to me. Having an arrangement based on convenience. That's all that is.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. So that's how you see
Open
it.
relationship, perhaps.
Pardon me?
Open relationship.
Well, I mean, it could even be that way. It could be, it could be several things.
But when you saw it, what did it like what was the first thing that came to your mind?
That's what I said. Toxic.
Oh, toxic. Okay.
One time.
Me too, my son. But anyway, Randy, I guess somebody else. I got lost.
How about you, Mr. Brown?
I just think that it depends on what the people are looking for at the moment. They have lots of relationships where people they're not like truly together, but they have an understanding that we just messing with each other. And I think it's just because of the fact of like if I'm busy or you're busy, extremely busy, and if that's something that you want to be into, I mean, I mean, a lot of people are kind of straying away from the normal relationship or what they consider to be normal. So it's nothing. If that's what floats your boat, that's what floats your boat.
Based on convenience. It's an
Yeah,
arrangement.
exactly. Yeah, I don't, I don't knock nobody for what they want to do.
But
If
the
that's,
but now but for me the
go ahead.
question is like how many of those arrangements do you have now? That's a question.
Well, that's the
Plenty.
thing, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I saw this completely different, but anyhow, I'm gonna let Randy because Shelly, I think we're kind of aligned, but Randy, you go ahead and give us your take on when you read that or heard that.
I thought about open relationships. That is coming to be more and more obvious, and with what do we say about convenience. I see a lot of that living in Atlanta, where corporate women, um, you could call it maintenance man. They have so many different versions of it, but convenience would be your top priority. You're a busy man, a busy woman, and you just want to have the guarantee that whenever we or I or they need to get something going, may it be sexual or whatever it may be, they have that guarantee because they have somebody there. But in prior to that engagement, you do what you want. You know what I mean? I gonna do what you want. You do what you want, and I have a big dinner coming up, so I will call you and tell you, hey, would you come, or I could escort you, or whatever, and then you just go from there. But convenience is, like Louis said, the primary factor.
Well, let me ask you a question. Is there some component or some level of exclusivity in that in any one of those scenarios? Anybody?
I mean, I
No.
think sometimes it depends on what you and that person agree upon. You know what I'm saying? Like if you say, well, you know what, meanwhile you're out there like with a bunch of dealing with a bunch of man or whatever, and you're like,
So
okay, fine. So I mean, it depends. I mean, to me, it's just like you're still in a relationship of sorts. It's just acting like if you're in a relationship, which is kind of retarded. But a lot of people do that.
Debbie, you
No,
got your face makeup over. I want to hear what Debbie have to say.
I honestly did not like when I heard you're mine, I'm yours, and we're single. I'm thinking honestly when I read it, to me it said like somebody has a special place in my heart. I have a special place in somebody's heart, but we're not together. That's how and Shelly, take it away. You go, because to me, I did
it's the
not
same
see none
thing.
of that.
No,
Ain't
no,
it
it's not the
I
same
think no,
thing because
I think
there's
Cupid
no attachments in
I
between
think
there.
Cupid came by her neighborhood and shut up once. That's what going on.
No, I just again,
Well, that's a
it's
very
saying we're single, right?
Right. And I think
I'm
that is the definition of single for me. For me, it meant pretty much that, we love each other from a distance. We know that we're not compatible together. Right? I mean, we may have an emotional connection. It may have been an emotional affair, but there's no getting together because we are not involved with each other. We know
That's
that we are not
such a
compatible.
female answer. Like both of
This
them,
no.
is
like
what and that's
female.
Lucian,
You know
that's
what I'm saying? It's
exactly
like,
what I was just
oh
saying.
yeah,
The
we
men have
we love each
one
other from a
perception, the
distance.
women have
No, you
another
don't say that.
perception. It is
that
weird.
is that is
You
that
know,
is
my
such
perception
that
totally
is
different.
that is
So
such a romantic response though.
That's
You know
what
what I
I'm
mean? It's
saying. Like
like
who says that?
from the
Like
heart, you know what I mean? It's like oh
That's
Seriously,
what I'm
Louis.
saying. I'm like,
If it
ooh.
says your what is that? I'm yours. Yours doesn't necessarily mean that person is yours physically, sexually,
Exactly.
Well, wait a
whatever.
minute. So when they say yours, what are they referring to?
It could be an emotional connection.
But it's still
Yeah.
but it's still a connection, right?
Exactly.
So to say I am yours, there is a ownership. There is a
No.
Of that
control.
special
There is
place
a
in your heart.
control thing happening. I see it as very toxic personally, but
I
um,
would. Me and Pinky disagree. Me
I don't
and
see
Pinky disagree, but I am with Pinky on this one.
because we're talking about I am yours ownership. So if it was an emotional relationship like Shelley said, why I separated with you from you and you still emotionally connected to me? That you
Because
got
you have really,
whole,
really good
It happens all
traits.
the time.
You have really, really good traits.
but
There's
that's
a whole lot of
dangerous
you
for
that I
people.
love, and there's a whole lot of you that makes sense. But there's that one thing that I can't take that would destroy even the friendship that we have that I'm not going to be willing to risk.
Give
So
me an
then
example.
Don't
Give me
say
an
it's in a
example.
romantic relationship.
so in your single
Oh,
state, you
like you
want
have a
this person
husband
to
or a
be in
wife
your
and together with somebody
emotions?
else.
It's
No.
not.
There's some people that you meet. There's some people that you meet, right? And you get along very, very well, right? Kind of like what would you call it, like a best friend, I guess it would be, because
Yeah.
there's you have 15 things. We're going to use Debbie's list that I don't usually use, right? You have 15 things on the list. They meet 8 of the 15, right? The 8 of the 15 are not enough for you to be willing to risk the other 7,
7.
right? You're not willing to risk the other 7, but you know that you and that person, because of who they are, they can help to build you. They can be a support for you. If you have an idea, you could run it past them. Intellectually, they'll help you to grow as a person. And so y'all have this connection that you're forever together, right? But you know that you can't be in a relationship because that's not going to work.
So is
I'm
it sexual
yours.
and
I am
non-sexual?
yours.
Right. Which
Is it
means that if
sexual?
I call you because I need help, you're going to respond to me, and vice versa.
Help in what way? Like sexually or not?
No, it
Exactly.
doesn't have to be
No.
sexual at all. I
I
mean, I
didn't
wasn't
see it
thinking
as
about it in a
sexual at
sexual way at
all.
all.
That's to
Who
show
said
you where
why?
your
Pour me,
minds are at.
pour me and Debbie. Debbie,
I'm just
Debbie,
saying,
we
like,
need help.
oh, you
We
need me to come and,
obviously on a different
oh,
wave
oh,
because
oh,
I
so,
didn't
Exactly.
think about sex at all in that.
I
oh,
didn't.
so come and,
You know,
Wow.
come and
I
wash your
must,
car when you need
I
your
would
car
say I
washed.
didn't necessarily think of sex, but my God, like
But you
yours,
did.
to me, that's, no, I didn't really, but I was thinking,
I think
I
it has
am
a sexual
yours.
kind of tone to it, though.
It does, but I would think it more on an emotional abusive level. Like you could not physically be in the presence of somebody, but emotion.
What?
Yeah,
But emotion, I mean, emotional abuse means that you have to control the person, which means that you would have to be in a relationship.
I am
An
What
emotional
are
yours.
you
affair, you're
talking
never in
about?
a relationship with that person.
Exactly, and
It's a
that's what
fantasy world.
exactly.
Both of
I
you are
am
single.
yours,
Remember
ownership, but
passport.
we forgetting the second part. I am yours, second part, but we are single.
No,
So
you are
that is
mine.
Correct.
saying we are
No, I am yours
connected
and
in
you are mine.
ownership, but we are separate. That's very toxic to me.
What about
I
secret
think I
lovers?
think
That, but
I think
But
that's
okay,
more
no,
like friends with benefits.
that's for me. The toxic part is
But
being a secret,
why is why
like what
is
Lucien saying. You know what I mean? It's like we gonna kick it, but we gotta keep it low ski.
there Debbie, I think we're missing the why does there need to be the benefits past the mutual
Because
understanding
again,
part.
you know what
They don't
this is,
the
you know what this
benefits
proves? This is what this proves. You
the
are going
benefits
to
don't have
see
to be
it based on
physical.
your experiences, based on your perspective, based on
We.
maybe what's going on in your head.
Right.
Because
Remember
I'm
I said,
telling
remember I
you,
said that it took me way back. So it took me way back to that time, and that was toxic. As sorry.
Well, that's
Go
what I'm saying.
ahead.
The
no, but
benefits
I'm
don't
just
have
saying.
to
So
be
for me, I
sexual.
didn't. Sorry, go ahead, Randy. What you were saying?
The benefits don't have to be sexual.
Yeah.
Well, then you no benefit at all. At least.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what the?
Seriously, Louis?
I'm just
Seriously,
Based
Lucien.
on Shelley's version, is that you have something that can't connect you, but you don't want to let go either. So the benefit of being able to call you and you respond at any time, it could be for a number of reasons, not necessarily sexual. It could be emotional support. It could be whatever the case may be.
They have a
But
beautiful
again,
business
this
mind
is
that you
Thank you,
can't get any
Halima.
place
Thank you.
else.
Thank you, Halima.
So,
Look,
so what you're saying is, I can come when you need me to go change your car battery or your car tire or something, and then when I need you to come
but then
and
why is that not
I
just
get
simply a
I get
friendship
iron in
removed
my
of the
car
ownership?
and iron in my shirt or something I can't iron, and we just can't be together. Really?
So then why is it I am yours? I mean, we all have friends. We all have male friends and we have female friends. Debbie is my female friend forever and a day. I am Debbie's and Debbie is mine. No, we're talking about something on a deeper level. Exactly. You see how you fix it? Debbie is mine and I am hers. Let me bring it into friendship since I want to say it's friendship. I am yours, Debbie, and you are mine. Inappropriate, isn't that? So let's move it over to our guy, me and
Yeah.
Lucian. Lucian, I am yours, you are mine. Tell me how your girlfriend gonna feel about I am yours, Lucian, and you are mine. Or
That
your
sounds
wife.
like some serious insecurity, though, Pinky.
That's what
Think about it. If
I
Lucian
am
was
thinking
married to
about
a
it.
woman and I said to Lucian, you are mine and I am yours.
it says single. Are you
I'm
all
that's
missing
saying,
true.
that
I am
part?
saying, let us put a substitute in there and say he is a married man, I am a married woman.
It says
But
single.
I am talking about the yours part, the beginning, the I am yours. Just like I use you, Debbie. I am yours, Debbie. You are mine.
Yeah, Debbie, you're hers. You're hers, Debbie.
Trina, Trina, again, everybody's gonna see it based on their
Exactly. And that's how I see it.
perspective
It's very toxic.
and how it hits you. And that's what I'm saying. That's why, again, these conversations are necessary because there's times when you see it from another person's perspective, and there's times you ain't gonna see nothing but what you see. You know what I'm saying? I don't see what you all see. I just don't.
I'm glad you've not had the experience where people been controlling you mentally or emotionally. I am
But
so happy that you've never had that experience.
right,
But
it is
people that
perspective.
control people all kind of ways, and it doesn't have to be physical.
But
You
Trina, how is it control when the
Well,
saying says when it says
I never had a control. I never, for me, it was never about control. But again, but like we said, that's about perspective. That's Pinky's view. She has had that aspect in her life, so she's talking about that, and that's fine. She's entitled to that. But for me, it wasn't nothing about control.
exactly, because I never had a friends with benefit experience, so that never come into my head.
no, but Trina,
Oh, you
if
know
it's
what? This is
saying
good because you're still young.
if it's saying I am yours and you are
Maybe after the show, you might get
I'm not
lucky.
understanding the control. That's what I'm not
I am
understanding.
not nobody's. I am my own, and
I
nobody
just,
have no
know.
control
Well,
over
why you
that.
sound? But you sounded angry.
But it's
I
not
That's what
about
I'm
but
saying.
control.
again,
Or,
Debbie, again, I gonna say I am glad that you have never had the experience where people was emotionally controlling you or psychologically controlling you, and that is a blessing from above. But
so,
let me
so
tell
Pinky,
you,
that's
you
Pinky.
could sit
That's
on
what
and
happened.
talk.
Pinky, that's what you experienced. You experienced that control,
I
right?
am saying that Luis, we talked last night. I have a lot of friends. I talk to a lot of people. People that talk to me and tell me all kind of things. Shelly, what am I saying is far fetched? That people
No,
could
not what you're
emotionally
saying is
control.
what you're saying is not far fetched. Emotional abuse is a real thing,
Thank you,
right?
Shelly.
But the
That
statement,
connection. They're
and
coming
how
out. My connection is whack.
Okay, go ahead,
Go
Shelly.
ahead, Shelley.
He's
Go
gonna
ahead.
come back in.
Oh, okay. So I would say
Go
emotional
ahead.
abuse, emotional, psychological, and mental abuse is real, right? It creates stalking. But in order for that ownership to take place, there has to be an unbalance. It can't be I am yours and you are mine. In an emotionally abusive relationship, is you are mine. Period. End of story. I don't belong to you. You belong to me. And that's the difference. There's no balance. In the statement that Louis made, it says, I am yours and you are mine.
Oh, I see what you're
But we're
saying.
single. It is not you belong to me, period. End of story. You ain't going down the road, you ain't wearing that, you can't go there, you can't talk to this person, you can't have any friends. It's not the same thing.
But
Because
but
at this point in
Shelly,
time, it's balanced.
but
But the
Shelly,
emotional
before
and
the
psychological.
awareness, before there is an awareness that there is an emotional abuse, there is that level where the person feels connected, that the
Right.
person feels I am yours and you are mine. And it could be mistaken for the act of love. I'm sorry, guys. I don't just go
Lucien,
deeper places.
Lucien
I
is
can't
like,
help it.
Lucien is like,
Look, I watched a movie the other day with this doctor who was psychologically controlling his patients. I can't help that. I can't help that. I don't understand that wall.
No, I understand it, Pinky. I mean, like that's what I do for a living. Understand that world. But I also understand that when you're in that world, you don't see it from the outside world, right? And it
Exactly.
leaves a residual effect. And the
Exactly.
residual effect is real. And that's the reason why when we are starting to learn ourselves and we get into ourselves, we have to go through the healing process because we have to break all those residuals. That's why some people can be in a relationship with somebody who's emotionally abusive, has a lot of power and control. Every time they got hit or they got put down or they got beat, that person wear a red shirt. Anybody pass you in a red shirt, you have a problem. You understand what I'm saying? But the healing has to take place
That's PTSD.
and a whole lot of other stuff.
Hmm. Hmm.
I didn't see it that way
That's a blessing.
at all. Sorry.
That's
Well,
a blessing.
my thing
And
is like,
Louis, he put the post gun about, he gone make it out. So
Yeah, he
we'll,
left it on
we'll,
the
we'll move
table.
on.
Nora started talking about the begin, and it is codependency, which is also very unhealthy in relationships. And that is actually a very good word, codependency.
But codependency is an illness. It's not a healthy thing.
Exactly.
Right. So we're
Exactly.
not talking. We Debbie and I don't think came at it from an unhealthy perspective. We came at it
Exactly.
from a healthy perspective, right?
That's
And we
good.
saw
That's
it
good.
that way because the effects of it was not real for us. Of course, now the men came from it from totally
Sexual, friends with benefits.
You
and all the
women,
other
women,
things. And
women
benefits
are
don't
emotional.
necessarily have to be physical, but they're just
Women are
beneficial.
emotional. So women will always have an emotional perspective on whatever it is, and men are physical. So we gonna always have a
I like that,
physical
Randy. I
perspective on
like that.
that.
True.
but it's
Very
So
true.
true.
you gonna come from the heart, and we
Very
gonna
true.
come from the Charlie, and we gonna just say what we
Period.
have
End
to
of
say,
story.
and that's what it is. I mean,
You
at
see
the
that?
end of the day, you had your experience. Everybody had their own experience, and from the men's point of view, that sounds like it's sexual, and from a woman's perspective, that sounds emotional. But any which way you turn it, it's kind of like what Shelly said. There is a balance because I am yours and you are mine. So we even Steven at that point. And then we single. So,
Right.
at the end of the day, when you need your tire changed, that's when the guy gets called. When
Or
the
you
guy
need
needs
service.
he needs
Or you
service,
need or you need service.
well, when I need service, then I will call and she will do her side, and then she go home and continue to do whatever she was doing, and I will continue to do whatever I was doing.
Somebody says
And we single.
situationship for the win. Yeah.
Correct.
I don't know. I can't see
It's
who
just
said
a
that.
new word. That's
All
all it
right,
is a new
situationship
word.
for the win.
Because you know what?
Yeah.
A lot of people too, they will go into something like that because they're just emotionally unavailable. You know what I'm saying? And if you're emotionally unavailable, you will go into something like that because it's
Yeah.
just like, okay, so it works for me. Especially if you're dealing with
Convenience.
trauma.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
convenience.
And
Yeah.
that's another, I like what Lucian said because I love what you said, Randy, and I love what you said, Lucian, too, because the thing about it is this. Why are we single? See,
Choice.
when I read a statement like that, and I like Carlos said these memes are for everybody's interpretation. Why am I if me and you together or and Shirley says because maybe one thing or two thing, right?
17.
Then why to me, if we're not together, then why are we in some form of ownership? Like there's a freedom
Because
there.
it works. Because it works for you. And it works
Exactly,
for him.
exactly.
Because it was somebody else.
Ownership. Anyway,
You
ownership.
ownership, when I said the word ownership, I mean, I don't think we have ownership of any other human being. To say, I am yours, you are mine, whether it's emotional or physical, that's ownership. My car is mine, my house is mine. It, I see our ownership in the mind's part. Like, that's just me. Don't try to understand Pinky because that's just what I done in life. Like, don't try to understand it.
Um,
Well,
go ahead.
as I said previously, it's about, once again, if somebody is emotionally unavailable, that's exactly what they will go into, because it's like, I did with you, but me ain't really there with you. You know what I'm saying? Use mine, but you ain't really mine, because they just don't have the emotional bandwidth at the moment to have a relationship. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
And for the individual who accepts that, says, okay, you don't have that for me, and I'm okay with that
But what
because
if
right.
I'm yours,
but
you
what
are
if they
mine.
feel the same way? What if that person
Well,
is the
that's what I'm
same way?
saying. Because I am yours and you are mine. There is, like Shirley said, there is a balance. There is an acceptance. I am yours. You are mine. So you are emotionally unable to be there for me. It's okay because I'm yours and use mine. I'm saying it's okay. It's okay. I stamp an okay on that.
Okay.
Not Trina, because Trina ain't been in nothing like that. That's messy. I'm not doing that. But
You're not messy, Trina?
I
No?
could be, but not like that.
Not
Okay.
anymore.
Okay.
Not anymore.
So the title of the show tonight was, we wanted to discuss, um, do men truly want peace? Um, and part of that is because you keep hearing men want, um, we even had a post the other day,
Is
men
that the
want
show?
sex or something like that. That's all they really want. Um, but is that really true? And also, I think that
to
that
keep a man,
statement,
this the title was to keep your man, to keep a good man, you need to give him peace and sex, something like that. Something like that. The
yeah,
post
it's
was.
something
That's
like,
what Satuma put up. But
yeah.
You gotta be his. No, Mbaku put up, if to keep a good man, you gotta be his freak and his peace.
And his
There you
peace,
go.
right? That's
I
what,
I,
Yeah.
that's what,
I am in full
but the
agreement with that.
original has said peace, just his peace, right?
no, it said
It's
No,
both.
what he put was you gotta be his freak and his peace.
right. So my question to you, though, everybody, is, I think that as men get older, that may be true, but I think when you're younger, I think it's different. And I think it's based on like where you are in life, because you do have some older men that like young girls, and they might not create complete peace because that's not what they're really seeking. So, but you see it everywhere. Man just want peace, but then they're
But
attracted to
what
like
is
crazy
peace?
women,
What is peace?
and that's
What
true.
is
That's
peace?
what's the definition of peace too.
The peace based on an individual and what they constitute and what they feel they need as peace. So, maybe I need to find a girl that a fish, and we go fishing, and that's peaceful, and I'm great to have her as my fishing buddy because fishing brings me peace, and to have a woman by my side that love to fish is the greatest thing in the world, and I'm good. Somebody
But
else,
you know what?
hmm,
I think that seems like a very a
question.
loaded statement, like
Yes.
peace. Because to me, it's just like the way how they point it out there, like they want a woman to just shut the hell up, get them pom pom, and that's it. We don't want to hear nothing else from you. Give us a pom pom, and go about your way. Be quiet. Don't talk about what you're dealing with. Nothing like that. If you see me down the street with some next woman, keep it moving. Okay, come home
So
and be quiet.
so
And that's
so
the and
that
that's
so
the
that
thing.
so that's
What does peace
clearly
mean?
that what Lucien just said is clearly you and me I with you and we single.
Right.
That's what that says. That's what that shows to me. That give
And
my peace.
it got them type of relationship too. You could cheat, you could lie, you could do whatever you want, you could spend the money however you want, and best to not talk. And I know it had woman who used to get him mouth boss because they talk. So
Well, yeah,
I
that's
you
good.
know, you know,
That's
if
good
I
to
can't talk,
abusive.
I can't be no relationship.
Oh my
So
God, I was good abusive, like, oh, I'm dancing and physically
For
again and no,
real. For
like Jesus.
Yeah, I think you need to do some more talking
That's
because
what I'm
Shelly,
saying. Like, you need
oh
some counseling. Like,
look, my heart is for the people them that suffering. Okay, I mean, hey,
right.
look, the people them who happy, I don't need no help. Nobody who's sick, people who sick to go to a hospital, right? I they're here for the people then who
wait,
sick,
let
not
me.
the people then who healthy. If I am healthy, I don't need my support. You don't need my advice.
Halima said men don't know how to find peace. Um,
What?
Oh
listen,
What?
wow.
men don't know how to find
What?
peace. That's
No.
why
Well,
they expect the women to bring peace. However, that's too much pressure for one person because what I find peaceful, you see as chaos.
She need a vitamin or something. I don't know.
what
Halima,
Halima dealing with?
Halima,
That's what I'm saying.
What kind of
Halima,
because
joke
I
is
don't understand why
Halima been
somebody have
around.
to bring. I'm
Halima
gonna
been
carry
around
this
people too
deeper
much.
again.
Been
Why
around
does
people
somebody
too
have
much.
to bring me peace?
No, they're
Right?
not bringing you peace,
Peace is something that's within that radiates outside. If you're a peaceful person, you're gonna create a peaceful environment. And if the environment is not peaceful, you're gonna remove yourself from it. So I
I
don't
agree
know
with
about this person bringing me peace.
right. I agree with you. It's not so much that they're bringing, is that they're not disturbing your
Your peace.
peace. I think
Okay, I
that's the
like that
angle
then.
you have to go with
But
because
you see what Halima said. I had a post when we first started, and it was talking about she was an angel. Wait, was
Yeah, I
you remember that?
remember that.
You remember that?
Yeah.
And he was a
Mhm.
demon. She was an angel seeking chaos, and he was a demon seeking
Seeking
peace.
peace. Yeah, that was deep. That was yeah, I like that.
Right.
Right? So I can understand what Halima, I bring it back. I bring it back. I hear what you're saying.
So again, I guess when people see that statement, it would behoove them if they're talking to somebody and they say I looking for a woman to bring me peace or I looking for a man to bring me peace. Number one, do you have peace? For one, and number two, what does peace mean to you? Because like Lucian said, peace might mean every time I want to do, you don't give me no trouble. But that doesn't mean that you don't create chaos in other ways. That really doesn't matter to me.
Peaceful
Peace.
peace.
And so I guess everybody has their own interpretation of peace. But I mean, I'm just saying you see it everywhere. Man just want a woman to give them peace.
I think what it is.
I have been frazzled and got in the environment of other people who just calm me down, period. Again, peace comes from within and it transforms our environment. I am not, I telling you right now, I have been like this, crying and panicking, and somebody just simply talked to me and I calmed down. That's not a person bringing, that's a person who is peaceful. So the what about bringing maybe is what this is the problem.
Well, I think it's not really. I mean, you're correct about the bringing of the peace, but just like some people, when you start dating them or whatever, they start off a certain way, and then like they come into your life, and then it's just like you already been a peaceful person, but then because this person has so much drama that they bring with them, you're actually disrupting that peace. You know what I'm saying? So if you're a person that like is troubled and I can come and talk to you and kind of talk you off the ledge, I'm actually bringing you peace. So that's what I think, the overall, message is supposed to be. You don't want somebody to come and disrupt it. You want somebody to add to your peace. You want somebody to be there like, hey, I understand what you're going through right now and I'm here for you. You want to talk about something, let's sit down and have a conversation. That's what
That
like
sounds like
men want.
support.
Yeah, support.
And
Yeah.
and actually that's what women want also, because that's exactly what was offered to me when I was frazzled, tears coming out my eye. A peaceful conversation that calmed me down. Before the conversation was done, I was laughing.
So then the
Isn't it?
person brought peace to you, right?
Wow.
They brought peace.
Right, because they're a peaceful person. That's
Okay.
what they offered.
Okay. Yeah.
Again, peace is something within and it transforms without.
Mm. Shelly, you had something to say?
Yeah, Shirley.
First of all, they said a man wants, and I am not a man, so I was allowing the men to answer first, right? Because I think that's something that we tend to do in
Uh
Oh,
oh.
oh Lord, it's stuck.
See, before she
So
said
then,
anything,
it's not me
what is
alone,
that thing?
because my thing is choppy, man. Everybody coming out
Yeah,
choppy.
I don't. I'll let her come back in. Yeah, she's right. And again, for me, when I see things like that, I don't want to hear the men because it's the men who's saying these things, or it's the comments and the posts say that men want this. So to me, again, you're
Yeah, because you
interpreting.
have some women who would just nag, and most of them live in Tampa. Nope, I lied. Not in Tampa. They live in Texas.
Excess.
You
I
really
think
said
you're
that
kind
for
of right.
real?
You're
Uh,
kind of right, Lucian. You're kind of right. I
He
am
said the
Tampa.
wrong T. He
I
said
think
the
you're
wrong
kind of
T.
right.
yeah,
Wrong,
I
they're
wrong
don't
T
think
straight.
anybody
But
could ever say I don't disrupt nobody peace. Well,
I'm saying Texas. I said Texas. My fault.
but your quick said
I
Tampa
correct.
boss.
Right, I corrected myself. I do apologize.
Okay, so
In
let
the
me ask this question before Shelly comes back on. When you hear the word, when you say, if you say to a woman, I'm gonna ask each one of you guys, when you
thank
say
you.
to a woman you want peace, what does peace mean to you, Randy?
Whatever.
Can't be whatever.
Uh, uh, well, I tell you what, it depends on the female because again, her piece might be that moment where she stands alone in a corner reading a book and just don't
No,
have to
but
worry.
what peace you want her to bring to you,
Oh
or
well,
not disrupt
she would have to
you?
adapt. She has to adapt to whatever is peaceful for me. So if she learns me, she would learn my peace. She would learn my bad stuff as well, and she would bring, or she would partake, or she would enhance the peace that I'm in. So it would
But
work.
again, Randy, but again, you're missing the point because what does peace mean to you? Because
Well,
you all
that's
just
what I'm
finished
saying.
saying peace to mean different thing.
That's correct. So that's what I'm saying. The scenario I brought up with fishing, I could enjoy fishing, and that's my peaceful time. And she likes fishing, so she comes along to fish with me, and it's just peaceful that she's there with me, and we enjoy each other because we enjoy fishing, and it's a peaceful ordeal.
So
Now,
she would have to be quiet if she fishing with you
no, no, no,
because
no, no, no. No, we could engage in conversation. We could do everything, but just being there together in that environment that I consider to be peaceful, and she can add to the peacefulness, whatever it may be. For me, I choose not to put myself in that box. I will just use the scenario as fishing. So I like fishing, and she like fishing, and it's cool, and we calm, and we enjoy the time and everything that we're doing. And no matter what we converse about, it's good and it's great. And
okay,
you just go forward from there. I don't want to put myself out of the box on that one, but just go fishing.
okay, okay. Well then, Lucian, how about you? When you hear that,
Shirley, come
let's say
back.
you said to somebody, yeah, I'm gonna come to Shelly. You say to somebody, I want you to bring me peace, or let my peace, let me continue in the peaceful way that I'm living. What does that mean to you?
I think in having like mature conversations, I'm thinking like just dealing with stuff on a mature level, man. Because some people they don't know how to converse. Everything is like going from 0 to 1,000, and it's like I don't I don't like to be like I don't like to be arguing. You know what I'm saying? Let's have a mature debate. Let's have a mature conversation. Okay, you didn't like how I do this? Instead of you like not talking to me for 2, 3 days and acting childish, like sit down and be like, listen, no, this is why I don't like. Can we sit down and discuss it and have a conversation? That's what mature people do. Not like me talking to he should know why vex for. I'm not a mind reader. You know what I'm saying? Let's have a conversation, Dren, and be mature about the situation. I just can't stand like certain women, like as soon as they get pissed off, they wanna just like jump to like And you and Iron Man and Iron Man. I'm just like, what are you talking about? What's
Oh,
the problem?
Okay, so for
You know what
you,
I'm saying?
it's Pete. When you hear the word peace, it's have you don't want all that rah rah,
Exactly. Like, I
and
don't
you
deal with
want
rah-rah.
and you
I like
want
mature.
okay,
Like, come
okay,
talk to me so you don't disrupt my peace with the rah-rah. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about this. Let's converse about this.
right.
If you have a problem with what's going on, why, just converse, man. Be mature adults, yo. That's all
so
I'm saying.
Lucian, let me ask you a question. Would you be attracted to a rara though?
It's sometimes the rah-rah is hide itself good.
So then when the rara
That's
show
it,
its face, we
right?
yeah, yeah,
I have
well,
to be
yeah.
shocked. I'm shocked. I'm shocked by the rah-rah-ism. You know what I'm saying? But then that's when you gotta make a decision. Like, yeah, I can't do this rah-rah, and you got to go, Joe. You know what I'm saying?
The
Because
rara-ism.
How
yeah,
about you, Louis?
rah-rah-ism. That's exactly what it is.
So I'm sitting here and listening and thinking. I actually had a conversation about this with a lady friend of mine, a younger individual, and we talked about being each other's piece. Actually, that was the conversation, and it involved us really appreciating each other and not sexually, but appreciating each other's time. You know, we both have hustle and bustle, lifestyles. So it was more of getting away and isolating and just being together, and it was dope. I must say that, and it was a different type of a vibe. You know what I mean? It was such a chill vibe.
Okay.
That's what the piece was for me, and that's how
And
I envision peace.
and that,
That
Louis,
was lovely, man.
is
That was
exactly
lovely.
what I meant when we were talking, if Debbie and I were talking about when we said you are mine and I am yours, but we're single. That's exactly it.
Hmm.
So, but
Yeah, I
I
mean, it
think
was,
that
it was,
the
it was. I mean,
StreamYard
it was
thing probably
dope. It was
doesn't really
dope.
like me much tonight. Keep kicking me
It's
out.
just,
Hmm.
it was just a time where you just got away from everything and everyone, and it's just you and them and whatever flows, whatever the vibe carries for that moment. It was
For
crazy.
that moment.
Yeah, it was crazy, and it
That
wasn't
that
just a
that
moment. It
moment.
just the moment lasted. You know what I mean? It was just being together, and it was just dope.
But
Mm,
every relationship have its moments of peaceful time. Every relationship have those moments. It's like Lucian said. When we have a difference of opinion, how do we handle that? Do we talk about it? Do we shut each other up? Do we disrespect each other? I'm going to say what the Bible says about peace. I remember when I had to learn to seek peace in my life. It said chaos comes in your life to teach you peace. You can't find peace if you don't practice peace. And how do we practice peace? We practice peace by being in chaos. The peace comes in the midst of the storm. It don't come when I sitting down in meditation, which it does, but that's not the true challenge. The true challenge is what happens when I'm in the storm, when I am under attack. How do I handle the situation then? Am I peaceful? So we could talk about all these good moments and they exist, but there's always another side to the picture.
Right. I agree with that, Pinky. But I think
Shelley.
too, for peace for me is acceptance, right? Because I won't get into a raraism. I like that word, Lucy. I'm not gonna borrow it. The raraism doesn't happen when you're accepting of the people that are around you. You know what I mean? You have to accept yourself first, though. If you accept yourself, you know that regardless of who you're with, you are always alone in your head. So you have to have some level of peace, or you have to understand what brings peace to you regardless of who's around you, in order for you to then be
Exactly.
able to see peace in somebody else. Because if you
Exactly.
have all chaos in your head, you ain't gonna find peace no place else. Because in your head is where the chaos is. Once you
Exactly.
learn to be at one with the and accepting of what is happening within yourself, everything else starts to work itself out, right? So when the representatives show up, because a lot of people come and they're representative, because that's how Lucian didn't figure out that the beginning person had the raraism issue that they had, because when people show up, they don't show up with their bad parts first, right? They
Exactly.
show up with all their good parts. They show up with the parts that are going to impress you. The representative comes and it's like, the Hoover vacuum. They come in and the salesperson sells it to you. It works wonderfully for 3 months, and then the warranty is up and you can't give it back. You know what I mean? But you have to decide, and so in order for you to be able to be somebody's peace, you have to be at peace, but be accepting of what peace means for them. If peace for somebody, is being quiet or going fishing or taking a drive, you have to understand that that is what is peace for them, right? And you have to be able to explain what is peace for you.
And you have to be courageous enough, because if you don't know what's peace for you, you're gonna be doing what they want. You have to decide so if something doesn't work, if you don't like a situation, you got the courage to say after 3 months, the same for me. I wish you the best, but I gonna go this way.
But you have to be in touch with yourself. You know
You
what I mean?
have
And
to
you
be in
you
touch
don't,
with yourself.
if you don't have peace within yourself, regardless of what happens, you're always going to become accommodating. That's how people stay in abusive relationships, because you become accommodating all the time. This self-sacrifice thing that we were taught, especially as Caribbean Black women, that we're supposed to cater, and leave ourselves on the back burner, so that we never ever get to that place where we learn to be able to see the value in who we are as a person, so that we can then present the value of who we are as a person, keeps us from having peace within our head, because we constantly
Exactly.
worrying about the image somebody else has of us, instead of offering the best of what we have to the person that we are interested in being with or starting to have a relationship with.
So
Well
I want
said,
to I
Shelley.
want to
Well
add to
said.
that. I want to add to that. I think the last time I spoke about that. Your value, your personal value,
That's what we're talking about last night. Yeah.
understanding your worth. And if you understand your worth, that creates your peace. So if you're at peace and understand your worth, regardless of what you're confronted with, you're going to always understand how you're going to deal with that, because you have this mechanism within you to have control of you, not the situation or the people that you're dealing with, but you. So it's not how the people come at you, but how you respond. And if you have that peace within you, then you would always respond accordingly, because it's not a chaotic moment within you. It's just a chaotic moment outside of you. And again, you just have to understand your perspective on the situation. And like Shelly said, to add a little bit further, everybody want to have a representative. But if you just come as you, I think a lot of it would be, you won't have to go 3 months. It would might go 3 hours versus 3 months, because you bring
The
you. You ain't selling
the
Hoover.
devil don't never show up as the devil, right?
Well,
No.
that's the thing. That's the thing. And you a lot of times, even if you are true and you come as you can't control that they brought their representative. You can't control that. So at the end of the day, regardless of how true you are to represent yourself, whoever they bring, you have to take it at face value. And then you spend 3 months, you see 39 red flags, and then you decide to say, well, okay, that's one more and I out. And then the 40th comes 6 months later, and then you're like, well, man, it wasn't so bad. Again, you're accommodating, and you're losing your understanding of your true value. And therefore, now you are now committing to something that really ain't you. So now you're coming into psychological abuse. Now, here we go. Because now you're abusing yourself to accommodate something that really ain't for you in the first place. So even
Right.
though you came real up front in the beginning and you couldn't sniff out the representation of the other person, then to protect yourself, you need to be friends first and learn the person and gradually make your way into that situation. And at the first red flag, you need to just Jesse Owens out of there and be God, yo. That's how I feel.
True. Okay. So the second question is, do good guys and girls finish last?
I wait for that all day.
Well, I got here
I
this
wait
perspective.
that. I gonna let everybody say what they got to say, but I wait for that
I
oh
lost,
God,
Randy.
I'm gonna
I
say,
was last.
man, hey, listen, man. I ready
I
for that.
I don't think they finish last. I don't think good guys or girls finish last. I think they finish best because they know that the needs and the wants are different, and they try to have they look for the wants that they have because they're usually the need is only you can control that, right? They're accepting of the other person, and though it may take some time, and so last may mean that it takes them longer to be able to get into the perfect relationship, but or not, well, not perfect, but best relationship for them. They figure it out because waiting just because other people's image of who you are isn't what they want does not mean that you finish last. It means that you can gain a lot, you learn a lot, you're able to move on a lot. You know what I mean? Because you can let go when the, like Randy was saying, like we were saying earlier, when the representative shows up, you know how to say peace out. You know what I mean? So they may say, oh, you always this, you always that, you always ratatara and the other, but just because it takes you longer to get to where you need to be does not mean that you finish last, because you usually have the best outcomes.
So that sounds good.
If that's your perception,
Exactly.
if that's your perception of it,
How
because
about
a
So
lot of
Randy,
times we want the person, and because we don't get that person that we think we should have, we think we finish last, or we like, oh, good girls to finish last, right? Or boring girls, because I always consider the boring girl, whatever, whatever. But I
Right.
look at that now in life, and I look back on all those relationships that never took off or never or didn't last, and I was like, well, that was a blessing in disguise.
Hmm,
I dodged a I dodged a bullet, that was going straight to my head. And in the time, I didn't think so, right? But if I left those situations feeling like, oh man, I'm not the one I was picked. Oh man, why the relationship? Then I will keep continuously choosing that path, feeling less than.
but you know
So
what? Too? That's all. Like I think that's partially because of your ego. It's just your ego being bruised because really and truly, you already know that that person ain't for you. You just want to like hang on for some particular reason.
hmm,
But in the end, as you said before, you go see like, wow, I really dodged that bullet, man. You know what I'm saying? But you already know when somebody ain't for you. It's just your ego won't allow you to see past it.
true.
You know what
How
I'm
yeah,
you
saying?
don't know that? How you know that they're not for you?
How do I know? Because you
Yeah.
already seen all the red flags going up, and you're still ignoring them because this is what you think that you want. This is what you think that you deserve. Especially if you're dating like somebody that's gorgeous. You're like, oh my god, yeah, this is my thing, and you've seen every red flag imaginable, and still you want to hold on to it. Because you can control it. You can do this. You can do that. But it's all the red flags are there. But your ego just won't it won't get out of your way, man.
True. How about you,
So
Louis?
Randy, since you're there, like,
No, before he go, I want to hear Louis. Because he said he got this big epiphany. Do you think good girls and good guys finish last?
Me or Lucian?
No, Louis.
Louis.
Louis,
Me?
Oh, Louis. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
No, it wasn't me. It was Randy. I say he
No,
was waiting
Randy
for
said
that.
he wanted to go after everybody. So go
yeah, yeah,
ahead.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
what she said. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely what Shelly said.
I used to think I did used to think that good girls and good guys sometimes finish last. Not all the time, but I that was my perception. Um, but I do know that, at least for me, I used to be like, my God. But then every time something showed up, I was like, wow, like Pinky was saying, I dodged that bullet. So that wasn't no place I needed to be. So I don't think so. Now my perception on that has changed. But I
It-
used to feel that way.
do you think you're just actually being you just make yourself vulnerable all the time? That's why you just hang around, you stick around because of your vulnerability.
I
You
don't
just
think
want
I used to say to myself, my biggest flaw was my loyalty to stuff that isn't serving me. Um, that was something I have to learn to work on. Because I think the inner me sees things, but again, questioning, I don't have so much going up in this head, that it takes me a little longer, but that was just an issue of mine. It's something that that's not me in just relationship. That's just me, period. In management, in a lot of things, um, holding on to things that I realize are not serving me. But I don't think it makes me finish last. My perception has changed. Bless you. Okay,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Cruz, go ahead.
Wait, me went yet?
You. I
Well,
thought you went. Okay, go ahead, Lucien. Because
I'm just
Halima
piggybacking
said
on
I
Pinky.
agree with Lucien. Go
not Lucia, Pinky. Pinky went yet.
ahead.
I going after the Lucian. Go ahead. I
I
always go last. I know that.
Well, you going last, Brandy going last. How about that? Anyway, so
Okay.
um, I think you have to think about like what people consider to be a good guy and good girl.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I've known people who've been married for like years, and the dude has catered to everything the woman has wanted, done everything, taken disrespect. You know what I'm saying? In my eyes, because certain shit that they would do, I'll be like, you serious? You just let her talk to you like that? You know what I'm saying? But then just to keep the peace within the relationship, they went along with it. But in the end, you
You talking
know,
about me?
but
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
in the
I'm kidding.
but in the end, what I'm saying, they still
I'm
end up
kidding. I'm
breaking up.
only kidding.
And the guy was really hurt because he was a good dude. Like, I mean, he did everything according to the book. But then too, you have to look at like your partner and what your partner wants and what your partner needs. And if you're not willing to, just because the partner is a person who is demanding, doesn't mean that you have to give them that. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes being good is not the greatest thing for you. Just to keep the peace, you have to stand up and be a man or a woman, and that in entail will help your relationship. If somebody could walk all over you, how they gonna respect you?
That mean you ain't in the relationship though, Lucy. And I hear what you're saying, but are you in the relationship if you're gonna let somebody walk all over you and you not stand up to yourself, or you just becoming a reflection of you what you think they want?
A reflection on what you think they want.
So then how is that you? Okay, I done.
Oh, this
Sorry.
ain't me talking about me.
I know you're not talking about you, but I'm just saying in terms of when you
Right.
say when you say that, right, for people who are in that situation, when you start being becoming a reflection of what the person wants you to be, you cease to
Right.
exist in the relationship at this point. You're just a
Right.
mirror of
It's all
what they
about them.
want. So where
Right.
are you in the relationship? I mean,
Exactly.
the good or bad in you don't disappear already at that point.
And that's the thing too. So then, like, do you consider yourself a good person because you allow them to walk all over you?
Mhm.
But what? But you're not there. So how can you be a good person?
Exactly. So then when we say about, I was a good person and she walked all over me, or like I was a good person and he walked all over me, but is like being a good person mirroring what this person wants. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean. So when we use the statement, good or bad individual, like I think that's what I get from it, because you
Okay.
just be you say you're good because you do everything they wanted, but then you're actually kind of defeating the whole purpose, because
Mm-hmm.
why would you do that?
True. True. That's a good one. Trina.
Well, I guess that's the yeah. I guess that's like, oh, why is good, right? Like, not because something good to somebody that means it's good to another person, right?
True.
And then we gonna always go back to how you showing up. Like, if we don't show up authentically in any relationship, if I try to accommodate you by doing flips and then you don't even like the flip, we a flip for. And then I want ball because I break my toe. But he didn't appreciate me, the guy flipped. And he said, but nobody, I laugh it, but I've been there, I've been seeing to have them discussion, I've been seeing to say, but me ask you to do that. I didn't ask you to cook every single day. And I was like, but it's a good wife, I don't cook every day. He said, me ask you to cook every day. I want you to do other things every day. And I was like, no, okay, again, right? So we have to understand that if we show up authentically with who we are, the person gonna meet us, like us or don't like us, and we have to be willing to say, hey, okay, this don't work. I like what Dr. Marlon said, because I think we walk around with this victim mentality, like I flip and he didn't like the flip. Then I gonna be flipping again for somebody else. Like, just be yourself. Either they like you or they don't like you. And in the end, right? You could say a nice person. Lucia might think kind of nice person. Janos might think kind of nice person. But if I believe as a nice person, it done. Do we finish last in the end? I don't think so. I think in the end, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and it's okay.
What you have to use an example though? What's that about?
Because I use it because everybody have a different perception, right? So
We never
if
did
I
get
walk
a video
around with a
election.
victim mentality, I gonna always be the nice girl and I finish last. I gonna keep attracting that. Let me just be me. If you don't like me, well, and that's not meaning we don't change or adjust or whatever. We have to grow. We have to adapt. We have to change. You know what I'm saying? Like, me stuck in stone. Like, oh, this is pinky way, pinky and change it. Soul. That's a crucial thing. Me change it for a mortal soul. Okay, well, okay, whatever. But at the end of the day, I don't know about this. I say it's a blessing in disguise. You avoided a bullet and you should be thankful. And that's my thing. Thank you, God, for the doors you open in my life. Thank you, God, for the doors them you slam shut. Give me the courage to keep moving forward. That's it.
And for the
Simple prayer.
conversations that you weren't privy to.
Say that again?
And for the conversations that you weren't privy to.
Yeah. We got to know that we being protected by the greater power above, right? If we believe we being protected, then if the door slam, it slam shut. That's it. That's it. So Randy, I want to hear your tech. Cause you've been waiting all night. Like, I want to hear this.
I thought he was frozen for a second then.
No. I always try to give my view from my life, because that's the only person I could relate to. You understand? So I always put myself in my scenarios and I put them out there. And when I was younger, I was the bad guy getting the girls, and the good girls was getting the bad guys. So that the good dudes that would have been the correct person for these girls never stood a chance.
We didn't
Not
address that part, Randy. We got to address that. Go ahead. Yeah.
so, so when you look now, you this guy, and you see sorting girls, and from oh God, man, she's a good girl from whatever perspective you have as good, like everybody agreed upon. And you be like, you know what? I just want to bull her up, man. So I gonna just bull her, and I got my way. And the good
Hola.
dude who is there by her side the whole time, but wouldn't have the initiative. I have a different term for that, but the initiative to make a move on the girl. So now he stay in the friend space, in the friend zone. And now he's comforting her after all these bad guys come her way. And
Oh,
at
that's
the
so
end of the
cute.
day, she now realizes after 35 bad dudes, the one good dude that she should have been dealing with was the dude that she crying on after every dude. Now, this is where the plot thickens because now you can't get he done figure out that I finished last with you, so guess what? I don't move on. And that's what happens. So now he found somebody, and by the time you recognize the good dude he was, it's too late. You're 35 dudes too late. And that's the
Oh
problem
God.
with vice versa, not just one sided. So now the flip side to that is now I got older, I became a good guy. And now I
The
have
good.
female friends like that where I just be like, that dude ain't for you. You stupid if you deal with that dude. You is a
Mm.
loser if you go with that dude. That dude gonna mash you up. He gonna take you for everything you got, and he gonna leave you. And then here it comes, and it plays out like all my children. And then she comes crying to me, "You were so right, Randy. I couldn't believe you were so right." And then what you want me to do? Say, "Well, okay, well I'm here." No, I'm not. Okay, so you need to go on and cry on a different shoulder because I was here the whole entire time.
Oh
And at
God.
the end of the day, and I like to put currently, um, I was in that situation where I went into the relationship and I saw the red flags, And Lucian, you're right. It was not really an ego thing, but ego per, persevered in that situation because every red flag I ever thought about and said that was not going to be me, I collect all of them and I send them out like roses. You understand me? And and then when I realized this is I gonna bring a lot of stuff in here, that I was being so bent out of shit that I lost myself trying to please them. And
Mm-hmm.
they're not putting the same effort to please me. And I
Nope.
then bend a little more and said, "That's okay. It's okay. She gonna come around. She gonna come around, and it's okay." And the whole time I neglected myself. Now this is
Yep.
my testimony on that because I end up with more illnesses than I've ever had. I
Mm,
ended up with heart problem, blood
mm,
pressure problem, weight problem, all these kind of things, mental problem. And what's so funny is when I left the relationship, I felt this incredible weight off of me.
relief.
Now, this is the funny part. Now I was holding on to something for no reason. And Debbie, I expressed that last Sunday on my little
Mm-hmm.
video. That's one of my faults that I just hold on to thing when there's no need to hold on to it. But I can't just let it go. So I working on that. And the part about it is that when I realize that the reciprocation is not going to come back, then now I'm at a place where I'm disappointed on you because I was expecting you to do something that was never in you to do.
True.
So I put the word I want to use is oh God, I got so much thing going
Emphasis.
on in my head. My expectations was never met because I put the expectation on the person, not the person put it on themselves. And when they didn't come true with the expectations that I had, I became disappointed. So the person didn't disappoint me. I disappointed myself with putting out the expectations of those unreal expectations. So
Unrealistic.
now I'm the good guy and I find in all the bad girls and it sucks. It sucks.
You think that's
Even in a
So,
I
previous,
just joking. I just joking when I say this, but you think that might be a little bit of karma?
So
yes, yes, and it could be. So even if it's karma, or if it's God, or if it's whatever it is, I get my fair share. So you need to back off now and find somebody else. You check. I tired of taking the licks, and it's funny because this will be addressed to Lucian. I dated a mutual friend of ours, Lucian. You know who it was. I don't call names, so don't call nobody name on this place. And
Thank you.
and let
Thank
me
you.
tell you, something. That
I don't even talk
relationship,
to them no more. I don't talk to
huh?
them no more. I said I don't
Okay,
even talk to
cool.
them no more. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
you getting
In that
sneaky.
in that part of my life, I was trying to change who I was
Oh, I
because
need a soap opera.
I didn't feel comfortable in the way I was anymore. So if you want to change, you have to change within. And if you want to attract something different, you have to be different. And that's what spelled and spiraled that situation. But when I got into that situation, I didn't realize that, oh my God, it's too taxing and too demanding for where I want to go.
Mm.
Now, everything I thought about the person physically was dead on. Everything else, I was so far to the right, dog, that I tell you, I couldn't even believe it. And when I got out of that, let me tell you something. If I was to see that person again in life, I will hug them until I break all the bone in the body because I couldn't thank you enough to make it so hectic for me to learn that when I see them traits, I need to bust off. So it wasn't that I lost. I didn't lose. I learned. And
You
Right.
dodge a bullet.
because I continuously growing as an individual, and my mind is expanding tremendously just conversing with people like Ayo. And I just take these things to heart because at the end of the day, believe it or not, I thought I was ready for a particular situation. And when I saw all the flags, like I said, I was just collecting them things like roses. And when I realized what I was doing was putting expectations on her that she didn't even know that was there. And now that we done, I am heartbroken. I am devastated. I am upset. I'm bitter. I could find a bunch of more adjectives, but I didn't do not. She didn't do that to me. I do that to myself, and I couldn't understand how I could allow that to happen. And
Randy,
yes,
you know what happens in a situation like that,
what?
and I learned it as well. Is about people being emotionally unavailable. They're there in a relationship, but they're holding on to their heart. They ain't giving it to you. They're holding on to it while you giving, and shifting with them. And then you
Right.
thinking that you making progress with them because like okay, you see the red flag, but you know what? This person,
But
they
Lucien,
go
there could
ahead.
be reasons why they're being guided with their love.
That's true too.
Correct.
That's
I
true too.
agree
It could
with
be
both of you.
that
I'm
could
going
be
to
from
add to
some.
that. I'm
I,
going
I
to add to
definitely
that
I've
because
experienced that for sure.
I'm
Yeah.
going to add to that because now I don't even have a wall around my heart. I got a friggin' fortress.
Right.
I agree with
And
you, Randy.
oh, women love to be chased. Oh, woman don't chase man. And this, listen, I am going to change the rules of this game. If you cannot meet me 100% on every level, scatter your skunt. Straight up. And it's not going to come 3 months down the line. It's not going to come 6 months down the line. And I'm going to be so skeptical. I'm going to be so real that the brutality of the honesty is going to leave a bad taste in most people's mouth. But
Randy,
again,
let me ask you this. Let me ask you
yeah,
this.
Oh my God.
Why you think do you I hear you. I hear you and Lucien 100%. Unfortunately, I had the experience, so I understand it too damn well. But Randy, let me and I just I mean even want nobody chasing me. Like you know, you either like me, you don't, whatever, we'll make it work if it done. The chasing necessary because people that chase you and they still got bad intentions towards you. So the chasing doesn't matter. So don't let somebody chase you, run you down, Randy, and the next thing you know, you think they love you because they're chasing you. Ugh. Some of them just chasing is like Lucian said, that ain't nothing but ego because we're dealing with rejection. So that's why you're holding on. And you're dealing with the fact like, oh my God, the person want me to chasing me. But anyway, Randy, is there a reason why you think you are I like when you talk about the you think it's a reason why you're attracting this certain type of person?
No, I gonna say this because what it is basically, I try to fix my camera. What I think it is that because I've never been in that realm of mental state, emotional state, you know, I never really knew what it take. I was married for 20 years and didn't even know I was married. Never had a real conversation with my wife. I never had the real talks with her. I always felt that when we conversed, it was an attack because I was
Mm.
stupid. I was dumb. I was immature. I was everything that she did not need in her life. And I take blame and I own that. And I don't have a problem with that. But here it is now, I've grown. And because I've been around. I ain't gonna lie, I've been a doorknob a good part of my life. Everybody I take a turn at some point in their life with me. And I come to realize now that at some point I have to understand standards. I have to understand value. I have to understand, you know, people being different and being different is okay. You know, I'm not going to get everything that I want in that person, but I have to find the better stuff or the greater things that I could attract from that person to better me and hope that they pull the same thing from me to better them. So, with that being said, um, the chasing, going back to you on chasing, I'm not physically meaning the chase, but when somebody's interested in you, you're going to get an extra phone call, you're going to get an extra message, and so on and so forth. And that's how I convey the chase. Now, when I send you flowers, you ain't got to send me flowers, but you need to send something. You need to do something to offset that. Because now I just send you flowers 5 months in a row just because, no reason, no birthday, no Valentine, just because. And you're going to tell me, well, thanks. Well, I tell you what, you're going to take that thanks and you're going to take it down the road because I done with that. And that's my point
Oh,
that I'm trying
Jesus.
to say. You can't see me putting in extra efforts and you don't match it. I'm not
Right.
saying you have to be exactly. And everybody does say, oh, I don't tit for tat. You know what? I going to do that shit now. I am going to take count of everything.
But Randy,
Uh,
you
You're
know what?
killing me here, Randy. You're killing me.
He
I
killing me
know.
with too, sir.
You
But
see,
he telling it. But
Randy,
he telling the truth, you know. He telling it. He telling the God. It's
again,
how he does.
but he's talking from a place, and okay, I know I'm the kumbaya person. I get it. I understand it.
Be yourself, Debbie. Be yourself.
I know that I'm overly positive, but I also
yeah,
know that time is short, right?
yeah, yeah.
And I also know, like Shelly just said, I have my the door open. I have my list, right? But my list is for me to stay so that I always keep in the forefront what's important to me, right? And the list has nothing to do with physical stuff, right? But what I'm saying is when you're talking like that, you're talking from a place of hurt, you're talking
For
from a
sure.
place of exactly.
Bitter.
So
Yes.
what and the unfortunate thing is that the right woman might show up, but because you're talking from a place, you're still in a place of hurt, you're
Correct.
You're
gonna
gonna miss her.
you're exactly. Exactly.
So
I'm
So
not
you
going, I'm
might
not going to miss her. I'm not going to miss her because I'm not entertaining nobody until I'm healed.
okay. Well that's
That's
good.
good.
That's good.
That's good.
That's
That's
good.
good.
So I
Yeah. And
understand. I understand that I'm hurt and I understand that I'm bitter. Don't get me wrong. I
But listen, wait,
understand
wait,
that.
but Randy,
But,
let
but
me ask
but
a quick
that's a part.
question.
That's a part of the process, right?
Right.
That is a
Correct.
part of the process, and we have to remember that you don't go from pain and suffering into, oh God, the world is a perfect place. Hell no.
Right.
I hurted. I was rejected. It bothered me. You gotta forgive, Randy. You gotta forgive yourself for your mistakes. And they got
So
terminology. I'm gonna let you talk, Lucian. And they got terminology called love bombing. And that's why we're like, don't be with this chase because people, that's look it up, love bombing, and it's very dangerous. So you have to be careful. Yeah, Lucian.
so let me say this too, Randy. As you grow and you mature and as you become a different person, your choices in females have to change as well. You see, you can't just like go after the same
Correct.
thing that you used to go after for, because those people are not ready for you. Those people are ready for the old Randy. And how you would have treated them back in the day, they would have fell right into line.
Yeah, so Randy, you think it's the same type of girl you're going for, but you're expecting a different result?
Exactly. So
That's
henceforth,
insanity.
yeah, remember,
No,
because you have changed.
I'm not picking from an orange tree. Right. I'm not picking from an orange tree and looking for Kenneth. No, not at all. Not at all.
Right.
So what I'm getting at is that my terminology and stuff to make people laugh, but that's the truth. The truth
No,
is
but I
the
love it. I
the
love it.
the type of women that I was attracted to when I was younger can't even call my name today. So I understand that my likes and dislikes has changed. Because as you what I liked in the 20, I don't like in the 30. I don't like the 30s when I'm in the 40s. I don't I'm well, let me start again.
Hold up, you're getting a
Now
little
he's
far there
sick.
now.
He's sick. Oh no. Okay. You're sticking Randy.
So with the preference changing, so does your likes and your dislikes and your so you know a good example is back in the day, Debbie was a hot commodity. You know,
What do you
now
mean back in the
Debbie is
day?
her commodity is friendship. I just just
Okay.
example. Okay, so back in the day, Pinky used to wind up and carry on, and that used to attract me. But now, when I see Pinky, I don't see that she has changed and she no longer lives in the limelight. So now, every time I think of Pinky, I think of she winding up. So I don't want to wind up. So Pinky will always have a bad taste in my mouth because that's what I remember. Shelly
Yeah.
might have been that girl in school that was the nerd, and I always like her because she did my homework. But
But,
because
but
now I
wait, wait,
can't get no
wait, wait,
homework
wait, wait.
done,
Now you know we gotta back this up here, Randy. She is a nod. She is the hot commodity, and I is the ring up. What?
That's a good one.
No, sir.
that's what it is. That's just what it is. That's just
Okay,
what
No,
it
but
is. But at the
I
end of the
joking,
day,
Randy. Randy, I
yeah, no
joking. Go ahead,
problem.
go ahead.
no, but
That's why
but
I
listen,
say I waited for this.
okay, we're gonna have to
I joking.
end because we're coming closer to time. But what I wanted to say too is that again, you talk about value all the time, and maybe one of the things that you have to work on, because this is something I had to definitely work on, is to know my worth and to understand my value. And that I think too, we have to be very, like, when we see people or we meet people, one of the things I had to I take people on face value. But I've had to learn that for me, I have to do friendships for a long time, because again, I don't see the representative, and because to me what you see is what you get. I don't switch up, right? But I have to understand, you don't, everybody's not the same. So you have to just find things that help you see what you need to see quicker. And what, and again, the fact that you're saying that you're not interested or you're not doing that right now because you're working on you, I think is like powerful, because I think that, that's one of the things that we talk about. Halima had talked about it before too. If you
Yeah,
know that you're not ready, don't even put yourself out there, because at the end of the day,
correct,
you might find that person and then hurt that
correct.
person, you know?
Correct.
And we
Correct.
and time is not promised, so I say kudos to you for working on
Yeah.
you. I mean, even the other day when we were having our meeting and you talked about the book
Right.
that you were currently reading,
Right.
I said, that's excellent. But hey, all I could say is life, eh? You could write a story. You could
Right.
write a
That's what
novel
it is,
just
Mister.
about
But
that.
I think that what you're doing too, Randy, I mean, and listening to Lucian and Louis as well, as as much as they sound like they're having a thing, I appreciate the fact that you all can look into yourself a lot, right? Because not a lot of people do that. I would suggest, because it worked for me, because I'm like Debbie, I take people at face value. Unfortunately, I take them at face value the different way. I do not look at a person's potential in determining whether or not they're somebody that I should deal with, because we tend to, the expectations come from the potential that we think the person has,
What
right?
you
Mhm.
create,
if
that's
you
what you
show
create.
me if you show me who you are, I believe you the first
Yeah.
time, and it helps me to gather information on where we need to go next, right? Sometimes we look at the potential. It's like you were given the example of, if you send somebody flowers and they just send you back thanks, right? And you send them flowers 5 times, you weren't looking at what they were telling you, right? Those are expectations again. You are looking at the potential of what your relationship with that person could be. You got to look at the fact that if you send them flowers and they said thanks, they may not like flowers. You didn't ask a question. And so, therefore, the flowers ain't benefiting you, because in your head, you feel that this is what the person wants, right? And that's another
Correct.
thing that we have to do. We have to learn people.
Love
Love
language. Love
language.
language.
Yes.
Yep.
Whether you want to call them love language or common sense, right? We have to
Right.
learn the person, right? Because people have different love languages, and some love languages aren't in the five. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Especially
Right.
culturally, they're not in the five. And so, therefore, you have to see a person as they are. If you don't understand something, it goes back to the conversations that Lucian was talking. I'm sapiosexual, so well, sapio demisexual. So we have to have a conversation. If you're doing something I don't understand, I'm going to say, you've done such and such and such and such. This is what it does. I don't understand why you do it. Can you explain it to me? That gives me a better understanding of who you are, right? At that
Correct.
point in time, I don't have to make up in my head what I expect you to do next, because I'm accepting of you as a person. And if I can
Right.
accept you as a person and that fits with me, then it could move on to something else. But if who you are as a person means that we stay friends, we're going to be friends forever.
And
Right.
I could agree with you 100%. That's why on Sundays I just have a little live video that I post after I go bike riding, and
Okay.
what I do is I try to help people along with certain circumstances that they may have. And I said one of the hardest conversations you have to have is with yourself, and you have to be real with yourself when you ask yourself certain questions, and that includes your flaws. So, like Lucian and Louis was saying, when you talk to somebody and you're in a relationship, you have to have done real hard, difficult conversations so that you could understand how to address certain things that these people have, to deal with. So, I agree with you, but I also agree with myself in the sense that because I went through what I went through and I survived, I now have a better understanding so that I don't miss the next opportunity of the good person. So that's why I realize, hey, until you let go and fix yourself, you toxic to the next good thing that might come. So that's why
Right.
I'm not entertaining nothing. Now, 35 years ago or so, man, I call in the next bullying partner and I moving on, not understanding that you are toxic and you just passing toxicity throughout all these people. But we young, dumb, and stupid, so that's what we do. We grown more wise and more, understanding. So that's
Mhm.
why we just take the accountability and the responsibility to deal with yourself before you go and mess up somebody else. Because now we understand how serious
Well,
that could be.
Randy, you hope, because there's a lot of people that are at this stage in their life and they still haven't gotten it together. But we're gonna have to shut it down. Um again, I want to remind everybody that tomorrow I'll be doing a live to discuss a little bit more in detail, and I'll be putting up a post about the May trip to St. Martin. It is not just for Love and Enlightenment members. It is for whomever to experience the island of St. Martin, which is the only Caribbean island that is half Dutch, half French. Um, Hopefully, there might be an opportunity for people, if they want to, on one of our free days to visit Anguilla. But right now, you can't do that because you have to do a 24-hour quarantine. But it's literally like a 25-minute boat ride, and they're English. So it would be nice. You'd be able to experience all three in the Caribbean. But I will have more information because I finally got some information that I needed today. So listen out for that. Share with your friends, and we'll update you as the time draws nearer. But I want to thank everybody again tonight for engaging in these conversations. Thank you again, Shelley. Thank you as well, Mr. Cruz. Welcome back, Mr. Downs, the artist, and Mr. Llanos. And of course, thank you, Pinky, for being here as well.
Thank you, Debbie, for being here also.
Gracias.
Thank you, everyone. As always, wishing you good things, great things, beautiful things.
I just want to say one more thing that, of course, you all know that Randy is from he's from Hamburg, and that's why he's so insightful. And you have to understand that.
As you said, his thing mess up. Go ahead.
That's a humbug thing then.
I forget. That's true.
That's why he's so insightful. That's a good one. Well,
Wow.
And I must say, from the conversation, I think that the general consensus, based on what everybody says, especially the men, Randy included, even though he's not here, is that bad guys actually finish last.
I think that's safe to say.
I think it's safe to say the bad guys, they'll finish absolutely last.
In the end of everything.
No, I'm a good guy now. I'm a good guy now when I'm losing. I'm a good
No,
guy
you're
now when
not.
I lose.
No,
So,
maybe you're not. Maybe you're being prepared for the right one. Okay.
No, Randy,
doubt.
Randy, it's actually not maybe you are being prepared. It is actually that you are being prepared because you would have learned them lessons and you would know them red flags to look at. And when you see crazy, you're gonna run right across the street and leave them standing up right there. And it's like Shelley said, when people show you who they are, you ain't gonna question it. You're gonna believe it.
Yeah.
So
You're
know,
absolutely
Mayor Angelo,
right.
I think, says that, right?
Right. Before we go, I just want to big up my humbug brother there, Mr. Lucian Downs.
He just said the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Are you full of it?
My boy, you know what you doing in the Virgin Islands there with your art, brother, is unbelievable. You understand me? And
big
just
things.
to see where you come and where you are now, man, is super impressed, bro. Super impressed.
Big things. Big things.
Man, you just do what you do, brother, and they gonna always get better. And man, you come from a good stock. I know your people well, and bro, you're doing well. You're making Hamburg super proud, brother. That's all I can say. But you still look gay in the face. But other than that, we're good.
Respect.
You give you too much props there, Randy. Like, really?
And everybody, like I always say, have a wonderful rest of your week, a wonderful weekend, and please stay safe and take care.
Louis,
Good
Pinky,
night.
Shelley, good night.
Thank you,
Y'all be safe.
everyone.
All right.